interesting statement, huh? What size object would it take? Again, for those of you that aren't totally convinced yet that you should be reading the book of Revelation and Daniel instead of the sport pages, you can get a real handle on what is coming, like so metaphorically pertinent, yet so describedly complete in telling us what's going to happen. Now look, here's the deal. The timing is the issue. I don't have the timing. I can tell you this, a lot of scientists who have tried to get the timing have died. Most everyone is in the southern hemisphere looking for these objects, but I believe that the scientists had told me to watch out for basically, I think he called it something like transitional deflection. I don't even know what that is. The point is that he's saying what it's going to, and I said, make it easy for me, please. And he said, just understand this, he said, the things they don't see and the things they do see, he says, when something comes at the things they do see, it can knock it out of its trajectory. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's fascinating that the supercomputers are working overtime to project the impact, and now we've got 3 impact zones. Again, I do not know the time of the impact yet. And I don't know that I can tell you or nail it down for you. I'd sure like to. But to remind you and refresh your memory, in all the different people I've talked to over the years of interviewing them and talking to them and writing and being a newsletter editor and stuff in times past, the fascinating thing is the thing that scares them all is that which they have no control over. And men are always worried about men writing the final page of history, that we're going to basically just be the masters of our own ship. I said, I don't think so. Because there comes a point where God acts in history. And I believe that God is so going to act in history, and is acting in history, that there's going to be no doubt in people's minds that it's Him. It's not just circumstance. It's not pomp and splendor. It's totally God. And I think that as we get to the point where people start to shake in their boots, it's going to maybe provoke them to have to think that, hey, the events that are coming are bigger than life, but God is bigger than life because He's the author and finisher of it. I want to transition everyone now into clothing, because I think this is something that people overlook more than any other issue when it comes to practical preparedness. Years ago, when I was a freelance photographer and I was out scouting the world and hanging out of airplanes, you've heard me talk about my helicopter stories, I invented a thing called a Quest Vest, so I was granted the patent on it. And as I've been thinking about this, one of my listeners provoked me to revisit the whole idea of one of the best ways of carrying your personal emergency items on you at all times is in the form of a vest. And I got to share this with you. When you're a photographer, you got film, you got filters, you got all the different accoutrements you need, and you're always looking for stuff, digging sometimes like ladies have to dig through their handbags. Photographers have bags with all this stuff in it. But I went back and I revisited again the whole issue of clothing. Now I'm going to talk about survival vests, or what some of you might know as fly fishing vests. And look, we're not talking about how to look neat and pretty for the end of the world. What we're talking about is functional and utilitarian thoughts. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can buy tactical vests. That's a lot of money that you may not want to or have to spend. Or you can sometimes go and get an incredibly built fly fishing vest. They have different lengths, different compartments, different pockets. But the idea is this, is that you're not going to be separated from your vest as likely as you are to be separated from your backpack or whatever, your duffel bag, etc. For those of you that have to still commute, having a vest that has the 3 days food and having a access to all of the different immediate survival supplies, whether we're talking the portable shortwave radio, and I'm talking about vests with pockets, and I'm talking about distributing the weight evenly. The problem with backpacks is in some situations, not only is it tough to run with a 40 or 50 pound backpack, but sometimes you don't need that stuff to get an immediate exit from whatever you're going to be doing and having your most important personal survival stuff on you. So we're going to talk about fly fishing vests, tactical vests, and then in a few minutes we'll talk about bulletproof vests. Now here's the deal. Most people are going to find themselves in inclement weather, and you're going to have to be prepared for it being one way, hot one moment, and maybe cold or rainy, snowy, whatever the time of year, whatever the situation. And even at night, most people find themselves at what can be awfully warm during the day, especially in the desert Southwest, can get incredibly cold at night. So I want you to understand, I'm not pushing any brands. I don't sell this stuff. I'm just trying to help you. You need to recognize that the military pretty well figured this out with what's called its ECWACS, ECWCS system. And that's actually stood for Extreme Cold Weather Climate System or something. But the point that is that you usually get your choice of two colors, black and camouflage. Maybe sometimes there may be a tan color or a green color, an OD color. But because of the nature of the ECWAC system, the Extreme Cold Weather Clothing System, you can layer, and Gore-Tex, G-O-R-E-T-E-X, is still the best waterproof, windproof material that's out there. And, you know, there are substitutes, and you're welcome to try them. But I can just tell you this, having worn Gore-Tex, like Marmot climbing jackets and stuff, it's really tough to beat Gore-Tex. Now, the best place I know to get the best prices on all this stuff is on eBay, okay? If you want to go on eBay, and I'll give you an example, jackets, Gore-Tex jackets that can cost $400 to $500 in a sporting goods store, you can go on eBay, type in Gore-Tex in the search engine, which is the top of the page, and you'll be amazed. You can get brand new stuff sometimes for as little as $80 to $100. Now, that may sound like a lot of money, but when you figure it out that you may be sleeping in it, and that generally the stuff is built for extreme outdoors events, then you're probably going to understand that durability and lasting, the ability for this stuff to last a long time, is a critical issue. So again, I want you to know that I have been watching eBay, and some of the best brands in the country, whether it's North Face or Marmot, M-A-R-M-O-T, or any of the, just type in Gore-Tex and you'll tell. And by the way, the extreme cold weather gear that is I'm talking about right now, a lot of times it shows up brand new. If you were to buy it from maybe any of the major clothing or sporting goods catalogs, you'd be paying, like I said, $300 to $400 for a jacket. The other idea is to make sure that you have fleece or the correct polypropylene undergarments, because again, you can always take off clothes if it gets too warm, but if you don't have what's right to begin with. The other advantage is, and this is, let's just say this is blendability. Let's say if sometimes people have said, I want camouflage, because obviously in a military or martial law type situation, everybody's going to be wearing camouflage. That's a very good thought. Again, you're going to have to take some of the stuff that I'm telling you and apply it and think it through, because, you know, obviously we all know who wears ears and listens to shows like this. But after again, if I had to prioritize everything, I would say this: if you have the polypropylene under, you know, the long pants and by the way, this is all unisex stuff, okay? You can have any color you want in the world, just as long as it's black or camouflage. You can understand that you can stay warm, you can stay dry. If you stay warm and you stay dry, or in the cases where you can stay cool and not overheat, you can really go a long way in keeping your health under wraps. Getting pneumonia in a survival situation is a one-way ticket to eternity rather quickly. Now look, I believe that God is warning and warning and warning and pleading. There is no place in the Bible that I can tell, except in those who God has specifically called to martyrdom, where the Lord says, lay down and let them run over you with a steamroller. On the contrary, if you understand that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which the Bible declares it to be, that God lives in a temple not made with sticks and stones, but a human temple when you're redeemed, the point is that how dare they violate the temple of God? And so the point is that I'm trying to make for all of you to grasp in this is that I think, I'll be blunt, I think we're at right now a financial red alert. We are at a crisis point. I don't know if they can keep it propped up much longer, another week, another month. But I can tell you point blank, by September, the life we have all known is going to be radically transformed and changed forever. And I'm not talking meteors or comets at this point, although that may happen. What I'm talking about is that with gas approaching, and the highest numbers I've seen so far, and those of you who have been emailing me, is like $2.49 a gallon for premium. But with gas approaching $3 is a magic number. And we still have got, what, almost 21 days before, 36 days, June 15th, before the Saudis can bring the extra gas online. Now, this is why it's important to get the stuff that you need to get right now. Clothing is critical. Good boots. And by good boots, I'm not talking about open-toed, high-heel boots. I'm talking about boots that fit, and again, Gore-Tex is a great boot because you can wear them through water. If you got to cross water, I recommend this. I recommend that people have a really good pair of sandals, too, because when you've got to ford a creek or a river or whatever, the point that you want to make sure is that you've got a pair of shoes or whatever that you can take you through the water, and then obviously be able to put your warm and your dry boots on after you get out of the water. Again, your feet are important. Remember this, your feet are the equivalent of tires. You got to take care of them. And I recommend, ladies and gentlemen, that you try your boots on and you get the ones that are comfortable and you talk to the people that sell them. You don't go buy them at Wally World. You buy them from a place that absolutely knows how to outfit your feet. This is a critical issue, and it's important that you have the right boots. I mean, here's the easiest way to do this. Get a Cabela's catalog, C-A-B-E-L-A-S, because I don't know there's a pair of boots in the world that they don't have. But the point is if you go into a local store, a local sporting goods store that deals with expeditions and hiking and stuff, you can try them on, and you need to try on the boots because people may have bunions, they may be a little bit flat-footed, there are different morphological issues with feet. In other words, not all of our feet are the same, especially those of us that have them in our mouth a lot. They tend to swell. But the point is that by correcting, let's say, oversights in your preparation. I know people that have got all the firearms and the hunting knives and when I say everything but retro rockets, and they don't have a good pair of boots. So, you know, again, this is critical. This is really important. And I want to share this with you. What I have sent guys, literally, with my vest, the Quest vest, that's what it was called, I've sent them all over. I used to get pictures from Galen Rowell. God bless him. He passed away in an aircraft accident, but he's one of the best outdoor photographers in the world. And Robert Holmes, I mean, these guys would call me from overseas and say, Steve, we just came down from K2. Man, the vest worked really good. Some of the New York photographers, when they're on the bridges taking the bridge shots or hanging off mountains, would work off the vest. And so what I'm trying to share with you is that I think that if you'll start to think along the lines of a vest, remember this, that again, you may set your pack down and be able not to get back to it for any reason or purpose, but you've got your vest on at all times. You've got everything immediately accessible. If you, and I want to share this too, if you're going to take any type of water carrying provision, the Camelbacks, and that's just a brand name, but the bikers canteens that are kind of a flat, very small backpack, low profile, that fit on your back with a drinking tube is the best way to go. You can carry more water, and you can carry it in the most, I would say this is the most correct position. You don't have to worry about multiple canteens dangling off your belt. And the fascinating thing is especially in winter, and we're going to be talking about multi-season survival. And look, I'm just giving you the basics, you guys. We're going to try and get all this stuff up on the website, and I apologize. It's up to me to do it. And I'm doing it at the rate I can. So, again, consider this. eBay. eBay is a great place to go for the Gore-Tex pants and jacket. It's not enough to just have a jacket. You're going to have the pants too. Again, because you can take them off. The nice thing about Gore-Tex, especially some of the material that that is treated with a Gore-Tex, is you can fold this stuff up really, really small, and it's fascinating warm. If you can keep the wind off you, the wind chill factor just is amazing. I think I've seen Gore-Tex that the wind chill chart on it alone, it adds an extra 20 degrees to your body temperature, and it does allow perspiration to exit through a semi-permeable treatment on the cloth, so whatever the cloth might be. So let's go there. Now let's talk about bulletproof vests, okay? Body armor. Body armor, for those of you that have never worn it, is heavy. There are different levels of body armor, and I think this one has already been posted on our website, but I think that it becomes important for those of you that know how nasty it's going to get to understand what body armor is. Body armor is simply an aramid fiber, like Kevlar, that is woven and usually has anywhere between 22 and 28 levels or layers of this aramid fiber. And how bulletproof vests work is kind of neat, okay? Because what it does is it dissipates the energy of the handgun round or rifle round, and it disperses it. So in essence, it can't get you, it can't put a hole in you, but it can produce what's called blunt trauma. The higher the rating, it comes 1, 2A, 2, 3A, and it comes in 4A. Well, I'm going to primarily talk about a 3A. Now, here's what happens. When a handgun bullet strikes body armor, it's caught in a web of very strong fibers. The word is aramid, okay? These fibers absorb and disperse the impact energy that is transmitted to the vest from the bullet, causing the bullet to deform or mushroom. Additional energy is absorbed by each successive layer of material in the vest until such time as the bullet has been stopped. Now, again, when you're talking about rifle bullets, then you've got to talk about what's either called ballistic steel inserts or ceramic steel inserts. Imagine a plate that goes over your vital organs, usually about 10 by 12 inches, 8 by 10 inches in both the front and back. Now, a lot of people have their lives saved, especially policemen, by wearing body armor. And again, you understand we're going to be dealing with some nasty people, and we're going to be dealing with people that are going to come here with the idea that you know, the Yankee Devils are to be done away with forever. So the point is that with acquiring bulletproof or ballistic vests, and also, by the way, you can find them in jackets like the M65 field jacket, but it's always good to have, especially when things get tough, to have that done, because a lot of people will be what are called point-blank shooters. They'll try and rob or whatever, and if you've got the vest and it's the correct level for the threat. Now look, here's the thing. 3A, which is what I recommend to everybody, and look, not everybody needs ballistic vests. I'm not saying that. Don't say Quayle's gone wacky telling everybody. I'm saying for those of you that need it or want it, here's the thing. 3A will take up to 1,400 feet per second. 3A works on 44 Magnums. It works on the most powerful handguns up to a 44. It doesn't do any good for the more powerful handguns like the 50 Action Express, etc. But when you're talking about bulletproof vests, you're trying to talk about something that, again, will protect your life, because depending on what the situation is in America, obviously, it's one thing to get shot. It's another thing to have a bruised or broken rib as opposed to a major hole in your aorta. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I would recommend to people who have high profiles and who know what's coming that, and I want to make this clear too, I'm not talking about flak vests, okay, F-L-A-K. That's what radio people need nowadays because there's so much flak. No, I'm talking about actual ballistic vests, the things that that we should have outfitted every American serviceman with in Iraq. My guess is that we would have had at least 25% fewer casualties had we done that. So it's amazing to me, ladies and gentlemen, that, again, we're not getting to the point where we really get it yet, but we are going to get it. And unfortunately, this is a play on words. When we get it, then we're going to get it. And again, I don't think we've got it, but we're getting close. Let's see. Oh, okay. Bob, thank you for reminding me about this. I got to veer a little bit. Last Saturday afternoon, let's see, Oak Ridge was shut down. Oak Ridge National Laboratory. They shut down an area a half-mile wide around the nuclear facility, and they never heard any more. Now, if you guys will recall, I was specifically talking about that about 3 months ago, and the plan, which, you know, Lisa and Laura and the analysts had turned up, when Laura translated Albatar, they were talking about specifically starting fires at nuclear weapons depots, and then in all the commotion going in and literally grabbing and taking nuclear materials, detonators, etc. The reason, Bob and others, that this story was hushed up like everything is because the ramifications lead directly back to the battle plan. Do you hear what I'm saying? In other words, fires are set at these plants, and especially this happened at Oak Ridge, and I know I please don't take this wrong, but when I deal with this stuff, people say, oh, you're paranoid, you're crazy. And then they put national spokesmen on saying, our nuclear weapons labs are secure. Well, so is sewage in a cesspool. But the point is, it's a total lie. And now if you're getting it, you know, because a lot of us on talk radio have raised such a stink about nuclear power plants, now we've got the federal government saying, Department of Energy is going to come up with a special task force of guards for nuclear power plants. Yeah, good luck, guys. You're only about 2 years too late. So again, we're going to deal and have to deal with this issue of people breaking in and stealing nuclear supplies, and it's going on right now. Amazing to me. It's totally amazing. Let's see. Yep, and I'll read this because listen, Steve, just for your information, there was a fire at Oak Ridge National Labs where our nuclear warheads are made, and Libya's nuclear program is being stored at last Saturday. Officials evacuated 1.5 mile radius around the plant, told others to stay indoors. No national media coverage. Fire was said to be chemical in nature, and no radiological products were involved. Not one to believe what they say. I have my own meter checking and did not pick up anything. Good for you. But again, the point is that the chemical, see, it goes along kind of too like with the Israeli story. If they're using two binary substances, either, I don't believe it would be as an explosive, but I believe it would be as an accelerant for a fire, it's going to become very hot. It's going to create, what is it, an exothermic reaction. In other words, you take part A, part B, you mix them together, and voila, you got fire. And it's wonderful to be able to time the release of A and B to be able to get away. So I think what we're dealing with, again, look, a fire at Oak Ridge, does that not make people nervous? One of our nation's premier nuclear warhead plants? I got to tell you something, it's amazing to me. And by the way, Oak Ridge was one that was specifically targeted in the Al-Qaeda. Now look, when we're talking about the New World Order people, they know all this stuff. They know where everything's at because, heck, they've been on the inside all these years. So given the fact that they know where all this stuff is at, they can maximize terror and maximize the effectiveness by even an attempt on a specific place. And for the record, I don't believe that the national media not covering this is by chance. I believe there is no truth in the national media whatsoever outside of, let's say this, something that's so huge that they can't deny it. The agenda is obvious. Just look at the way CBS is following and doing their best to expose the scandal at the prison when they didn't give a darn about the guys that were murdered and chopped up and stuff. And you know, it just is such an unjust thing. Let's go to this. Somebody's asking me, David. Yes, I will. Will you be placing the list up on your site? Please, yes. I use your material in the Sunday school class I'm teaching on origins. I would like to use that list this Sunday. I think you're talking about the refinery fires because that's what you're saying. Listen to this. This is more on the Israelis in Tennessee. They're trying to get their diplomatic, no, they're not diplomats, but they're appealing to the Israeli diplomatic corps to get them out of there. It's kind of fascinating because he says that their lawyers said that they rented the truck to haul furniture and got lost when they had pulled off Interstate 26. Nope, no more than that, just that story. Let's go to this too. Oh, wow, thank you, Dave. Listen to this. Premium in Paso Robles, California now is $2.62 a gallon. Interesting. Let's see. Let me go here. Supplement to vests. Tony says, bib overalls reduce the wear on your regular clothes, and bibs give you more freedom of movement than the one piece that covers everything. Try dropping to the ground and bring a rifle to a position with a one-piece coverall. You cannot bring your arms up to handle a rifle. He says, good point. Get two types of canvas and light denim. Get them with the extra layer of cloth in the thigh area for longer wear. I recommend this because we'll all be working much harder in the days ahead. He said they also work well with vests and jackets, and that's why plumbers and electricians and guys who are working always want to have the maximum amount of freedom, but they also need to have something that's going to hold up. Let's see. Okay. Somebody said this, Steve, many of the name brand items at eBay that are priced so cheaply are knockoffs and may not perform as well as the name brand. You get what you pay for. I won't disagree with you, but I can tell you this, that you check out the listing from some of these people, and some of these people are actual dealers, and they've got backstock and stuff. And for the record, I've done hundreds of deals on eBay and only got ripped off once, and that's when I tried to buy my son a Transformer robot or something, and the guy's name was Chung Ho Park or something. So I don't agree with you, D. There are people who sell legitimate stuff on eBay. Wendell says this, truly believe everyone needs to be prepared by September 1st. Do what you have to do by September 1st. Get ready by September 1st. I think Wendell is convinced it's September 1st. Okay, can't go there. Let's see this. Linda. She says, I live about 40 miles from Irwin, Tennessee, and Asheville, North Carolina. A friend of mine that works for police department has discussed the incident with me, but I cannot say over the Internet. If you get a chance to call me after the show, please do so. I'm sorry, this is Randy. Randy, I'll call you. Thank you for giving me a heads up. Luke 21. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark is quoting Luke 21, that men's hearts will fail them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Powers of heaven being shaken. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tonight. And again, I've got so much to cover, but I'm doing is what I can do in the order that I believe it's important. Again, your suggestions are welcome, and I'll incorporate them into the preparedness section of the show. Keep your eyes on the Middle East, because things are going to start in Iran very, very soon. Good night, everyone, and thank you.